How's it going, guys? My name is Josh and welcome back to the Super Bowl 50 prediction video. So, on February 7th, this Sunday, in San Francisco, in that new Levi Stadium, Denver Broncos from the ABC. Oh my gosh. Isn't ABC like that old VCR company? Isn't it? Shows that, okay. But anyways, from the AFC, the Denver Broncos will be playing, and they also the number 1 seed, playing against the other number 1 seed, Carolina Panthers from the NFC. Going into this game, Carolina is the massive favorite. Actually, in a recent ESPN poll, 70% of people actually think Carolina will win the game, which, to my recent memory, is the most I've ever seen in any poll before a Super Bowl. But let me tell you what's going to happen in the Super Bowl. So I know all of you are saying Carolina's going to win, Carolina's going to win. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I do think Carolina is the favorite, and they very easily can come out and blow out Denver in this matchup. I think they can come out and win. I don't see them winning by more than 3 touchdowns. If they did win, they would win by about 14 or 17, in my opinion, at the most. But Carolina can go out and win this game. And my gut tells me that Carolina is going to go and just play great football. They're going to come out, score a bunch of points, Broncos will come back, and they're going to win the game. But I'm not picking the Carolina Panthers. And all of you are like, what? What? That's worse than your Arizona Cardinals prediction. I know, but remember, Larry Fitzgerald dropped 2 passes. That's more passes than he's dropped in 3 of his NFL career, or 3 years individually in his NFL careers. Larry Fitzgerald, I believe, had 23 drops in his entire NFL career before that game, and he added 2. It literally is like the apocalypse. That should not have happened. Nobody ever saw it coming. But anyways, I'm picking the Denver Broncos. And let me give you a couple statistics as to why I'm picking the Broncos in this matchup. So, 0-2, or 0-2 if you don't like people using letters or numbers. But 0-2, they use the name. What does that mean? What's so symbolic about 0-2? Well, for you sports fans out there, well, there's a lot of things that can mean 0-2. But the one thing I'm referring to is these 2 years. These 2 games from these 2 different years. One was in 2003. One was in 2014. Does anybody remember the Super Bowls from these 2 different years? I do. I remember Mike Aslot, the fullback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Derek Brooks, Simeon Rice, Warren Sapp. That Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that came out and won Super Bowl something in 2003 at Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego. I remember that number 1 defense, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You saw the number 1 defense of the Buccaneers. And guess what? They won the game. They won the game by 27 points. And that's with Brad Johnson at quarterback. Brad Johnson's trash. Okay? He just is trash. But he was still able to win by 27 points against the Raiders. The Raiders had Rich Loose Game, the MVP. Oh, the MVP from that year. Oh, yeah. So they had the MVP. I'm pretty sure they also had Tim Brown. I believe Wheatley was the running back. He was solid that year. I think they actually had Jerry Rice that year as well. But it was the MVP's team versus the number 1 defense. And guess what? The number 1 defense won by 27 points. And their offense actually scored more than 40 points. Well, technically they didn't because the defense actually had a couple of touchdowns. But that's continuing to my point. 2014. Many of you know Peyton Manning played in the Super Bowl. MVP versus Seattle Seahawks. Number 1 defense. And guess what? Seattle came up victorious. They also won by more than 27 points. And they literally were up 2-0 within the first 30 seconds of the game. That's bad. But this is the point I'm trying to make. When MVPs play against the number 1 defenses in the Super Bowl, they're that number and that equation I just talked about. They're 0-2. Now when you look at 0-2, guess what? That's 0%. So an MVP, when they play the number 1 defense in the NFL in the Super Bowl, has never won. Now, to the Carolina Panthers' benefit, if there ever was a team to break that record, it would be them. But let me remind you, Denver that year in 2014 actually did have a very good defense. The problem is they didn't hold up at all to Seattle's offense. Marshawn Lynch had a heyday. Because, you know, in 2014, he actually did get the ball in the Super Bowl. Pete Carroll probably still should have handed the ball off in 2015, but that's okay. But Denver, in my opinion, reminds me a lot of Carolina this year. Sure, Carolina's more of a running team, a lot more schemes on offense than Denver had, rather than just a shotgun formation, Peyton Manning throwing the gun to Wes Welker, Marius Thomas. But I really do feel that this trend is going to go from 0-2 to 0-3. I think Denver's going to come out there. They're going to solidify their defense. They may go a couple early points, which I would not be surprised about. But I really feel this defense is going to keep grinding. This offensive line is nothing like the Denver front seven. That is the Carolina offensive line. And I really feel Denver will make Cam Newton. You have to make those great plays. And I feel he will fall one play short. Now, talking about why I think Denver will win. One reason, a little bit of sentimental favor for Peyton Manning. It's going to be his last game in the NFL. Please, Peyton, retire. I don't care if you win or you lose, retire. Out of the respect for you and the respect you deserve as a player, and arguably the greatest quarterback in NFL history, you need to retire for this game. And I do think you're going to go out with a win. Because anybody remember Derek Jeter in his last game ever as a Yankee? Sure, it wasn't in the playoffs. It was at Yankee Stadium. Who was the last person to bat in that game? Derek Jeter. Who hit the walk-off single to win that game? His last game ever at home? Derek Jeter. Now, sure, Peyton Manning might not be at home. He's closer than the Carolina Panthers will be because the game's in San Francisco. But I feel like Peyton Manning is going to come out there. He's going to have a great game. He's going to have 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, and most importantly, he's going to lead a fourth quarter drive to secure the victory against the Carolina Panthers. I'm being straightforward with you. I really do feel this Denver team is going to win the Super Bowl. And Peyton Manning, you're going to be the legend. Anyways, guys, leave your comments below. I know a lot of you guys are going to be hating on me for picking the Broncos, but hey, stats speak for themselves. Carolina, technically, according to history, has 0% chance to win this game. Or at least from the fact I just showed you, which is the biased fact I'm going to use to make my point. But let me know why you think Carolina is going to win or why Denver is going to win. I really do appreciate your guys' comments. And even if you don't know anything about sports, let me know how helpful this was to you guys. I really love to see what I can do better to make it for you. And I'm talking to people that maybe do not know all that much about sports, how I can really be a lot more informative to you guys to help you grow in sports knowledge, which everybody probably should do at some point in their life. But I'm taking Denver. I'm going to take Denver by the final score of 35-33 in Super Bowl 50. And I feel Peyton Manning will have a touchdown. I'm going to say to Owen Daniels, the former Baltimore Raven. With 13 seconds left, and Cam Newton is going to fall just short. Sorry, Carolina. You'll have your time in about 2 or 3 years, in my opinion. But Peyton Manning, this is your time. Anyways, guys, thank you for tuning into this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next week.